Welcome to qdPM. Today I'm going to talk you through the configuration of qdPM version 9. The main difference between version 8 and version 9 is we added a new responsive interface so it works across all devices. So we're looking at the new qdPM version 9 login screen. Once I log in, I'll be presented with my dashboard, looking at a desktop view. On the desktop view, you can see that the menu is on the left-hand column. We're going to look at the configuration and I'll expand that menu out. There's several areas that we need to configure. One is General, Users, Projects, Tasks, Tickets and Discussions, and today we're going to look at General. Under the General configuration, there are some general settings that you need to set up. First, there is the root administrator, and this is the administrator of the actual application as opposed to a user of the application. So if you log in with your root administrator, you're not going to get to the actual projects, tasks, tickets, discussions and reports of the application. You're just going to see the configuration menu. You need to record the details of the root administrator and keep it somewhere secure. Again, it is not a user of the application. We then have the name of the application, which shows in the header, and then a short name for the application, which is a good idea to use if the name of the application is quite long. You can also load a logo. You don't have to, but if you do, we recommend you put it on a transparent background and check that it's okay, it looks okay with whatever available skins there are. So if you change the color scheme, your logo might not look so good. You might want to restrict whether they can do that. And we'll show you how to do that in another video. But let's just look at how you change skins. And you can see our logo doesn't look so good. So this is something you need to consider. When you're doing your configuration and loading your logo. There's some time zones, default languages, default date formats, and you can look up the configuration manual that comes in the download file with qdPM version 9. Again, we're going to refer you to the configuration manual to decide whether you're going to use certain features of qdPM. The first one is one we've already mentioned, is whether you use skins or not. You might just want to have one skin, you might want to develop a custom skin for your actual business, or you might want to let people do whatever they like, which is okay if you don't have that logo in the top left hand column. Again, I'll refer you to the configuration menu that tells you how to create your own skin. We also have unique features for qdPM, which is phases, versions and task groups, and if you read the configuration manual you'll get an idea of what they're for. Internally, we don't really use project phases, and we don't use task groups on all our projects, but we do use it on some, and so we've set that on. We definitely use project versions, which comes in extremely handy. It allows you to cut across a project, and anyone using Agile, sprint methodologies, or doing product development will definitely find the version functionality of qdPM really great to use. The final item here is whether you're going to allow people to edit the comment date when they make a comment on a task. The reason that we have this as an item, and it is explained in the configuration manual, is that we normally date timestamp a task comment so you know exactly when it was made. But if you're going to actually record actual time or effort for a particular task, then sometimes people want to backdate that entry, and so allowing them to change the date timestamp on the task is useful, because people often forget to do it on the day that it happens and they want to go back and do it for yesterday. So once again, read the configuration manual, you'll understand better what I'm talking about there. But if you don't record actual time, then it's best to not allow people to do it. The next menu item is the email options. And again, the configuration manual explains what it's all about. But here it's whether you're going to send out emails when people make comments, assign people to tasks, create projects, etc. And it's whether you're going to notify the whole project team or not. You can have a prefix to the email notifications, how many prior comments you're going to record in the email, and certain other things that you can set up again. One thing to look at, and it's something that we do internally, is you've got to decide whether you're going to send the emails as if they're coming from the person making the comment or from a general email address. We send ours from a general email address and we call it no reply, which means that if people reply back to the actual email, they understand that they're not going to get a reply. You have to log into qdPM to make another comment. The next area to look at is quite a technical area, and most people can ignore it. Those people who want to use LDAP, there are the settings, and again the manual will just tell you there are the settings because they're self-explained with all this text underneath. If you don't understand what this is about, then probably you're not going to be using it. Two areas that you might change more often than the others is the login page and new user creation. In the login page you can change the welcome message, and you might want to do that when you want to notify everybody of something like a business closure, vacations and things like that. The new user creation, you can customize the welcome message when you create a new user. There's a default one, and you can compose your own, and there's some fields that you can use. So that's the end of the general configuration. I know it was a pretty fast walkthrough, but again there is a manual for how to configure qdPM, and it's contained in the download files for qdPM. So please refer to the manual, read it through, try some things out, especially look at how the features work and decide whether you're going to use them or not, and then configure qdPM for your particular application. Thanks for listening.